I'm going to give everybody about another minute to get in here, make sure everything's working. And we're going to get started on time. And we are going to end on time. It's probably going to be about 40 minutes, and we have questions at the end. Um, so, and we are going to be talking about QuickBooks and using QuickBooks and just some real basics around them. And I think you'll find them very helpful. And of course, if you have any questions, put it in the chat and I will answer those questions. And you can put them in as you have them. And that way, I can answer them as I go along. If there's something that you have a question about, I can answer it. All right. Well, let's get started. I am going to share my screen. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about setting up QuickBooks and learning more about it, about the setup, the automation, and the best practices. And everything that I'm telling you, we teach our team to do. So you are getting the inside look at what a true, um, everybody on my team is advanced certified in QuickBooks Online. And so they do this work, and this is what they do when they get a new account. And this is how we set it up, and this is how we deal with it each week. And I also am going to give everybody here this special list that is what we use. It's called the month end close. And it's after you do all your basic work for the month, and it's a checklist. And I'm going to provide that to everybody here. So, a little bit about me. My name is Alisa McCabe. I am the owner at First Steps Financial. We have around for about 15 years, and our mission is to help small business owners be profitable, be successful, and have positive cash flow. And how do we do that? Is by mastering their QuickBooks file, but we also help them understand what the reporting that they get out of QuickBooks and allowing them to take a step back and not have to be so involved in the financials and really help them create a financial operating system and helping them understand their financials so they can make good decisions about their company and have strategy of what's going to happen next. Um, so this workshop is to equip you with making QuickBooks work for you. And again, like I said, these are proven strategies that we use. And I'm going to tell you about the automation that's in QuickBooks. And then there's some troubleshooting that I'm going to talk to you about, just some basic things that can happen. So why do this? Why master QBO? It gives you freedom of choice of where you spend your time. When you tame this beast, which most people think of their finances as a beast, yes, you will be able to spend less time working on the financials and more time making decisions. And then you can spend more time with your family or your pets, or, and this is my family at Christmas. And I personally want to spend more time with my family. I want to spend more time doing things that I want to do, whether it's working on my business. And I want to spend time working in my business. So these are, I'm telling you everything that I use. So many small businesses are in the same boat, that they struggle with unorganized books, and it creates so many issues. One of the issues is that at tax time, you cannot give your accountant your books because you're like, I haven't reconciled it all year. I have hundreds of things to categorize. That is so overwhelming. We are human beings. And if something is too daunting of a task, we're not going to do it. You need to make this easy for you and something that is small enough that you can do it on a regular basis. Um, if you go for a loan, you cannot provide basic financials. If someone asks you basic financial questions about your company, if you hire a business coach, And the business coach says, so, how'd you do last year? And you can't tell them. How'd you do last quarter? How'd you do last month? And also, the thing that also creates chaos is too much manual entry. I'm going to show you how to take, you should be doing no manual entry. There is almost no reason to do any manual entry in QuickBooks Online. Something else that happens with chaos is that you're losing out on tax deductions. And we have seen this happen so many times where a client comes to us and their books are a mess and we go in and we do a cleanup and they have to refile last year's taxes because it was such a mess that either they had a huge profit that they really didn't and they paid taxes on that profit. Or there were key items that didn't get recorded and it created a problem with their filing their taxes and it made it incorrect. You can be subject to a fraud investigation. There's so many things that could happen if you have an audit. Your books are audit ready when you get to the clarity part. So a well set up and automated QuickBooks systems transforms your experience as the business owner. Anytime you can look into your QuickBooks file and get information from it. And then you have confidence that it's correct. And once it's clean, you can also only spend minutes on it a week. I have a process that it's 15 minutes a week. It's all you need to spend on your books, 15 minutes. Do you have that? Get a cup of coffee or a cocktail and sit down 15 minutes every week. And I guarantee by the end of the month, when you do your month-end close, and I have a report for you, a checklist to follow, and it's not difficult. It's step by step. That's what you're going to do at the end of the month. It's going to take you less than 30 minutes to do a month-end close. And it really is a very short time. And you're going to know that your reports are accurate because in the month-end close, I have a checklist that's going to show you how to look at those reports. And when anybody asks you, they're going to say, so, you're in here for a loan. We need your profit and loss in your balance sheet, up through last quarter. And you can give it to them instantly. Guarantee that loan officer is saying, they know what they're doing. They have their act together. And that makes you appear as though you are a good business. So the three essential areas that we're going to work on and that will transform how you manage your books is we're going to start with the foundation. And that is what your business structure is. Knowing what your business structure is, and please, you need to know, and there's a couple of differences we're going to talk about. And the essential settings configuration, which is a chart of accounts that you can do reporting from and that it will scale with your business. Next, we're going to focus on automation. How do you master the bank feeds? How do you set up recurring entries, set up bank rules, which will so help you? It's also going to improve your accuracy and it's going to reclaim your time. And then we're going to talk about mistakes. These are things that you want to avoid and that you will be able to resolve when they arise. And also in, any one of these links, obviously you can reach out to us and we're more than happy to help. And that will give you confidence in your financials that you know that they're right. So where do we start? We are starting with at the very beginning. So if you get these things right from the very start, it prevents all kinds of issues down the road. One of the issues that we see often is that when people start a QuickBooks file, is that it's not in the right format. So what that means is that you have to know what your business structure is. Are you a sole proprietor? Are you an LLC? Are you an S Corp? Or are you a corporation or a partnership? So there are some, and this you need to know, there are some companies that are an LLC, but they file their taxes as an S Corp. That means that your QuickBooks file should be set up as an S Corp. So you also need to know if you're cash or accrual. Most small businesses, if you don't know, most small businesses are cash. Look on your tax return at the very top. It says cash or accrual. It says it on your tax return. I know tax returns, I think, are fascinating. They have lots of information. Also, if you don't know what your tax entity is, Look on your tax return, last year's tax return. You should have them all done by now. Not 20, not just recent, like a year ago tax returns. Um, it changes how QuickBooks automatically sets up your file. So, and what ends up happening is if it's set up incorrectly in the beginning, it creates problems down the road. So what you want to do is also know, do you charge sales tax? You have to know that. In your product and service list, you will be checking off a box that says, I charge sales tax on this item. If you don't know if you charge sales tax, ask your accountant. Your CPA who files your taxes should be able to direct you to information about if your product or service is taxable. If you sell in many states, you're going to want a product like Avalara. QuickBooks Online is pretty good for sales tax, but some of the nice things about Avalara is it tells you when you meet nexus in a state, and it also lets you know if your product or service is charged, it has sales tax in a state. Um, a key example of this is a software as a service, SaaS. In some states, it's taxable, and some states, it's not. So if you are selling SaaS, you should be collecting sales tax in some states. Um, Establishing your accounting method, I talked about cash or accrual. Configuring your invoice, you can put your logo on it, you can create estimate templates, and you set your fiscal year dates. And these are things that will help set the basis. This is the whole foundation for your QuickBooks file. So the first thing, chart of accounts is the backbone of your file. It sets up clarity and it will allow you to scale. So and if you have a poorly if you have a QuickBooks file and you've already had it for a while, you have two roads to go down. If it is a disaster and you really can't fix it, you can start over. It's a little bit of a work, but you can start over. We actually have a client who just came in who has had a desktop file for 20 years and it's not right. And so there's no need to import that information. So we are actually starting from the basics and we are structuring their chart of accounts in a way that is going to support them to scale and to do reporting. So what you need to think about is what reports do you want to look at? How do you want to measure your business? What lens do you want to look at your business through? That's going to help you decide how you set up your chart of accounts. Okay, I want to see a profit and loss. Okay, basic chart of accounts sets up okay. But what income are you tracking? Do you have different streams of income? Do you have, for example, if you have different lines of service, if you are an electrical contractor and you want to break out, you do commercial work and you do residential work, you can break those out into two income categories and you can track those. And then when you do your reporting, your profit and loss, you can actually run a profit and loss by those different income accounts. So there's different things that you can do. And you want to think about it's always, and Stephen Covey said it best, start with the end in mind. Where do you want to end up? What do I want to measure? What's important to me? What numbers do I want to see? And then you work your way back of how you get that. So you want to like group similar accounts together. Now, QuickBooks already does it for you. They set it up so that the first accounts are income accounts, and then there's cost of goods, and then there is, and then it goes down and it starts with all of the general expenses that are associated with expenses for a company. So those things are going to be like advertising and marketing and your accountant and any legal stuff, those kinds of things. So that is what you will be seeing on your chart of accounts. So, and then also, they provide you with a default chart of accounts. And so what happens with that is that it's fine the way it is, and you can customize it, which is wonderful. It's really a great thing that they provide, and you can use that, and it's okay. Um, And what you can do is utilize that and add accounts, like I said, for different revenue streams, create subcategories for like major expense types. So there is an account called professional services. And so under professional services, you're going to want to put your accountant, you're going to want to put lawyers, you're going to want to put all those things that are professional services. And maybe under marketing, you're going to want to put different expenses under marketing. So, for example, for my marketing, I have information that has about our webinars and business groups and all different things that all roll up to marketing. So this way, it allows you to be able to use your reporting to dig down deep into those things when you build your chart of accounts. One thing you don't want to put in your chart of accounts is you don't want to put your vendors. So if you do your marketing with a company, marketing.com, that does not go in the chart of accounts. That's a vendor. You can always you can always run a vendor report. It's a standard report in QuickBooks to see how much you paid them last time. You want to use a general account of marketing. If you want to break marketing down into some buckets where it's social media and different things like that, yes, do that. But again, general, you don't want to make it around a company. You want to make it around that category. In here, and everybody's going to get a copy of these slides. This is a test drive for QBO. And so what it is going to show you is it's really great. And I'm going to actually, hang on one second, I'm going to show you. Oh, it signed me out. Okay, so right here, you're going to go here and it's going to bring you to this screen. And it's going to ask you, and this is a test sample company. You can play in here. If there's something you want to do in your account, you can go here and you can look at this. So, and it has your chart of accounts is in here. And as you can see, it has what the account type is and the detail, and you can add a new account. You can view the register, but the chart of accounts is set up and you can see these are indented and that is your sub accounts. But that's where your chart of accounts is. You're going to get this link when you get the slides. You're going to get a recording from today and the slides, but we use it all the time. We go in there and we play with something to see how is it going to look? Is it going to screw up my books? Can I delete this? What does that look like? Is it going to miss that out on, is it going to create a problem? Now, I do have to warn you, I wouldn't delete things in QuickBooks. I would void them. When I first started using QuickBooks years ago, I was the delete queen and I used to get in trouble all the time. So I would delete things and then it created issues. So avoid them. Lesson learned. So you want to use automation. So one of the things you want to do is you want to master the bank feeds. And this is not the current view of what QuickBooks looks like now, but similar enough that you're going to have your bank feeds. Make sure that you connect your bank feeds. The automation that's inside of the banking is actually the most powerful tool in QuickBooks. Why? Because it takes information from several sources and it is where your reporting is going to come from. All these transactions that come in from your credit cards, from your bank, are all the deposits from clients. All this information is going to build your reports. It's going to show income. It's going to show expenses. It is going to show payroll. It's going to show all those things because they all run through your bank account or your credit card account. So this will help you do this quickly and efficiently. So first off, connect your accounts. If for some reason, QuickBooks connects with thousands of banks. It's very, very few that it doesn't connect with. If it doesn't connect, there is actually a workaround that you can import your transactions. And so I'm actually going to show you. Oops. I'm going to show you where that is. on here. So when I go here to banking transactions, um, here, upload a file. When you go to link your account, you can link it here or you can upload a file. And when I click on here, it takes me to here. You can upload a PDF, a JPEG, a PNG. I mean, this is like really come a long way. You used to have to use a certain type of format. This is what you guys can use now. So there's no reason for any manual entry. All right. Um, so when you take your 15 minutes each week and dive into your bank feeds, what you're going to do is teach QuickBooks who your vendors are. So you're going to get something in from, someone that you'd be surprised how many times you actually go get gas at the same place. And so when that comes through on your credit card, it comes through at Sunoco. So you can put in Sunoco as a vendor, and you're going to put it in as gas or automobile expense. And when you do that, after you do it a few times, QuickBooks remembers. And you can also create a rule. So I'm going to show you that one too. So here's your banking transactions. And so right here, it says create a rule. So if I wanted to, this is money that came in, let's just say every month, Books by Bessie pays me this money every month, and it comes in as an ACH payment. I can click on create a rule, and we name the rule, and we'll say it's Books by Bessie invoice. And it's money and it comes through the checking. You can use all these descriptions at a condition. So it's only books, it's only going to be counted in this rule if it's over $25. You can put that in. You can test the rule, which is great. So and then where is it going to go? What category are you going to use it? Is it going to be uncategorized income? No, because you're not going to put anything in as uncategorized. But you can put it at, it's going to be sales of product income. And this is the biggest thing. If you don't learn anything about rules except for this and you start using them, turn this off. Do not auto add anything, because the problem is it comes in from the bank and it goes into your bank feed, into the little holding pool there, and then it automatically goes in your register and you don't see it. And it could be wrong. So you always check these things. Always make sure that you are looking at each transaction, even if only for a second, to click on add. So when these are in, let's see if there's any matches. I know these are all considered uncategorized. But typically when you do this, and after you've done it for a while, it will say, instead of it say uncategorized, it'll actually say that there's a match. And you will be able to look at it and see if it really is a match. All right, so bank rules, use them, set them up, take your time with it. It helps it maintain accuracy. So matching links is also something that will happen in the test account, and I don't know why it's not showing up today, but go in the test account. It will actually show you that there's things that match up. And so you want to match those. And then that matches it to a transaction that's already in there. So maybe you created an invoice for Bessie's Books, and now it's going to match up to that invoice. And that will take, and then it'll put those two things together. Adding creates a new transaction. So if you saw some that were uncategorized, expenses and income, when you put your information in, pick what category it's going to go to, and then click add. It creates a new transaction in your register. Matching adds it to something that's already in QuickBooks. Excluding, it says here, removes non-business items, but no, it actually just excludes anything like duplicates. So there are times, and technology is our friend until it's not. Sometimes duplicates come in from the bank. The bank feed sometimes duplicates. You can exclude those without deleting them. So these are three actions that you can take. And once you do these things and have these things set up, 15 minutes, done. I guarantee you, anybody, if it's taking more than 15 minutes, come talk to me. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is to leverage recurring entries. So what you want to do is you want to automate any predictable transactions that happen in your business. And this will help you to, if you have a bill every month that comes in, it might be helpful to set it up as a recurring entry. So you want to look for things that come in at a regular interval, whether it be monthly, yearly. Sometimes actually setting up a yearly one is great. Monthly ones you typically tend to remember, but if there is something that you pay yearly and it's set up on automatic payment or it's not, it allows you to say like, oh, wait a minute, where is this? I didn't see this come through, but it's in your QuickBooks file as a bill to say like, oh, we usually pay this every year. I wonder what happened. So it allows you to think, it's almost like it's a reminder for you that it's there. So anything that is the same every month, subscriptions, rent, loan payments, retainers, insurance bills, anything that you can do regularly. And then those are good for automation. So you want to set up how to create these on a regular basis that required you to review them. Or I suggest certain ones you can have those post automatically because they don't really affect anything. Um, and then this setting up these recurring incomes or expenses really will help you because it creates accurate records without you being involved in it. And it also helps you that you don't forget some regular expenses and it frees up your time. From QuickBooks, they say it saves 80% of time. And it increases your accuracy by 95% by setting these up. Now I'm going to quickly show you where to find this. So on this screen, you want to go, excuse me, I have to move my face. There is a cog in the corner here, and that is where recurring transactions are. And in this sample data, if you want to create a new one, you click here and it wants to know what is it? Is it a bill? Is it an invoice? It's actually a lot. Is it an estimate? What is it that you're trying to put in here? Here they have the monthly building lease, which is a bill every month, and who's the customer and what's the amount. And then the telephone bill, it's scheduled every month. It's going to come out. It's this amount. It doesn't pay your bills. This is not what it does, but it creates a bill inside of QuickBooks, which then something coming through the bank feed should match to. So just so you know, that is the best way to use it. So common mistakes to avoid. So we see a lot of things. And don't feel bad if you've already done these because I did them too when I first started. One of the things that you want to really stop doing, is not mixing business and personal. There's so many reasons to not do this. So first of all, it's hard to maintain clean, reliable books when you mix those things together. It also creates tax complications. And if you are categorizing your personal expenses in your books, it throws off your information for your reporting. It also can jeopardize liability protection. I know. Yeah, it can say that you are creating fraudulent issues in your account, and insurance may not cover anything, any kind of issues that you might have. So always keep them separate. If the IRS does an audit and your personal and business are mingled together, That's a red flag for them. They will dive deep and you will be in an audit and it will be extremely painful. And who wants that pain? So avoid it. It always makes me laugh because one accountant that we worked with, he said, "Really?" He says, "You're going to take $25 and use it in your books to like get that $25 off." He says, "And it will cost you hundreds of thousands, hundreds of dollars to use that if you get caught." So you got to weigh those options. Don't skip reconciliations. I know, it's annoying, but do it. If you're spending 15 minutes each week reconciling your books, I'm sorry, categorizing your books, at the end of the month, reconciliation, I'm telling you, 5 minutes. 5 minutes for every account because you've done a little at a time all month long. And it is also your quality control to make sure that all the transactions came through from your bank account into QuickBooks. There are times when you'll find stuff on your bank statement that for some reason didn't come into QuickBooks, and this is where you're going to find it. So make it a habit. If you have trouble making habits, read the book Atomic Habits. Phenomenal. Start with 1%. Do something a little at a time. Get it done. Reconciliations. And this is a big warning for everybody. I love AI, use it all the time. Not for QuickBooks. QuickBooks AI hallucinates often. As a team, we don't rely on it. It is not, it is not up to par. And it makes things up. And we've had it create income as an expense. We've had it do some really kooky things. This is where your human common sense comes in when using AI. There is some AI in QuickBooks that's phenomenal and it's really good, but use your common sense. Look back at things that you've done before and then see if it makes sense, what it's suggesting. Some of the suggestions are off the wall. Don't trust their suggestions. And if you have any questions, just ask. Um, so blind trust in any of this, uh, it creates so many issues. And I know that, you are going to believe me in this and you're going to use yourself as the guide on this and trust your instinct. If it doesn't seem right, it's not. So these are some troubleshooting things that happens. So, and again, look, it's technology and there are going to be problems that happen. It's why I have a company. There are issues that come up. AI can't take care of it. It takes someone who is an expert using the system, knowing how to solve it. But even though you may not be an expert in QuickBooks, there are things that you can avoid and that will help you to solve them quickly before they become these big blown up issues. So these are the things that happen most. Uncategorized transaction. So when your bank feeds first start, for the most part, they come in as uncategorized. Once you get through it a couple of times, they usually come in as suggested items. But if you have a huge pile of uncategorized transactions, what ends up happening is you're going to get frustrated and you're going to put them in wherever. And then that's a huge issue and it costs money for cleanup. Let me tell you, when we have to go back and we have to untie a huge issue, it's a problem. And it's very expensive to do cleanups because it takes us time to figure it out. So stay on top of it every week, 15 minutes, categorize everything. Reconciliation discrepancies is another one that we see. So when a reconciliation doesn't balance, what do? Start by checking for duplicate entries. Start by looking, is the beginning amount correct? And then use the QuickBooks actually has a reconciliation report that you can use that will identify where the discrepancy is. And it is really helpful. It's not foolproof, but it's a place to start. Again, if you get stuck, reach out to us. We can definitely help you on it. Um, Another issue that happens that you can easily fix is bank feeds get disconnected. So this happens more often than not. And if you've worked with QuickBooks for any amount of time, you know that you're going to have to go in and reconnect them. But if you're in there every week, you're going to know if it disconnected. So make sure that you are connecting to the correct bank, because Citizens and Bank of America and Chase have different types of bank accounts to connect to. Make sure you're connecting to the right one. Make sure that you didn't change your username and password, or your password, because a lot of banks require you to change your password. QuickBooks can't log in if you change the password. So if you change the password on your bank account, when you are logging into the bank account, know that you still have to go into QuickBooks and change it there too, because it will become disconnected. And sometimes it just gets disconnected because it gets disconnected. You know, technology, right? It just happens. So worst case scenario, download the bank statements and upload them. And I showed you where to do that. So this is everything that you will need to get started. Is it fully comprehensive? No, but it's where you can start. So you will start with building your foundation, starting with those core things that will help you build a strong house. You're going to start with a chart of accounts that is solid and has general categories, maybe some subcategories, but it does not have vendor names in it. And you are going to automate everything you can. Everything you can. I tell my team this. My team's real value, and neither is yours, their real value and your real value is not in doing data entry. It is not in categorizing. Your real value is working on your business, is doing strategy, is taking the numbers that come out of QuickBooks in the reporting and making decisions from it, and being able to forecast what to do next. So, and I tell my team this all the time, their value is not there. It is really in helping business owners understand their numbers. So it's not categorizing, but doing it is important. So, and if you have automated things, maintaining quality control is you being in your books 15 minutes a week, just to look at categorizing. Go in there, categorize your bank account, your credit card account. The transactions come in every day. You can hit update and it'll automatically come in while you're in there. So that way it's updated through that day and you can start categorizing things. And it won't take long if you do a little at a time. And then at the end of the month, you are going to reconcile your books. You're going to reconcile your bank statements, your savings statements, and your credit card statements. And once you have those reconciled, I have my little secret cheat sheet that I'm giving everybody. And you're going to go in and you're going to run some reports to check and make sure that your books are clean, and make sure that, oh, that looks right. That looks okay. Nothing's missing. I have a whole bunch of stuff to show you. So again, really, these are best practices to keep your QuickBooks file up to date. Keep yourself out of trouble. Keep away from that chaos. And if for some reason you find yourself in that chaos, something happened. Look, things happen. Your family got overwhelming. Your pet is sick, whatever it is, and you couldn't get to it for a while. And then you get back to it and it seems overwhelming. A little at a time, reach out, call, find us. We will definitely help you with it. You can definitely do it yourself. You can reach out to us. There are so many options, but the worst option you can choose is to not do anything. So I'm going to actually show you back here on this page. This is what you're going to get, is the month-end close. And you're going to get it, and it is going to be, you're going to get this, and you're going to make a copy of it. And this is what's going to come up for you. It's called Month-End Close for Business Owners. And it has a checklist with actual checks boxes on it. So you can check it off each month. And so what you can do is go here, file, make a copy of it each month. And that way you have it and you can check off each one. You can even put the date at the top and decide this is what it is. And it tells you what to do. Reconcile all bank and credit cards. This is exactly what we do. I'm giving you this secret. This is what we do. So what you're going to do, it tells you here, go to reconcile history by account, review the reports. And if there's uncleared checks and payments as of the reconciliation date, you need to research those items. Again, this is what you want to do. You want to check, look for duplicates on your chart of accounts. If you have trouble, click this link. It takes you to our contact page. Put time on our calendar. Again, once you're done reconciling, you're going to look at your balance sheet. This is your checklist for looking at your balance sheet. Once you start to do this, you will be able to do it every month and it will become like clockwork for you. So review your balance sheet. Then you're going to review your profit and loss and you're going to look at it by month to make sure that everything is coming in correctly. This is how you keep, whether you do your books or not, if you have someone else doing your books, this is how you keep an eye on it. When you see your reporting, you know if something's off. And so if you're doing your own books, this is what you're going to want to do to check it. And this is our secret checklist that we're giving to you guys. So does anybody have any questions on here? So Okay, so someone said, I'm worried about security. How safe is it to connect all my bank accounts and credit cards to QuickBooks? So if you have a question, you can put it in the chat. Um, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. This one is, yes, QuickBooks is very secure. It is encrypted and your bank accounts also have encryption. And it is a special link and we've been using it for 15 years and we have never had an issue with it. Can recurring entries be used for payments that have variable amounts like a utility bill? Well, technically, yes, you can. But it's not going to match it. It is more of a reminder. The things that work best on recurring entries are exact numbers because then they automatically match. How frequently should reconciliation be done? Every month. And what are red flags that indicate a problem? Negative numbers. That's what we look for is negative numbers. If you run your profit and loss or your balance sheet and you see a negative number, you need to investigate it. That is the easiest red flag to find. Oh, this is a good one. So if you have a long list of uncategorized transactions, like you got into that, you forgot to look at it for a couple weeks, what's the easiest way to clean it up? You can sort it. So it has columns and you can click on the top and you can sort it. And that way you can take all of your transactions from Amazon and it will sort it by, it's just like Excel, like you click on the cell that you want to sort it by date or name or type, any one of those things. And then you can easily go through and take care of that. And let's see, any other? What are some key reports that I should be aiming for? So one of the best reports that you can use is profit and loss by percent of income. So it's actually become a standard report in QuickBooks Online. So when you go into the back of it, into QuickBooks, you will see under standard reports, you will see profit and loss by percent of income. And you don't have to create it. What this report tells you is how your income that comes in from whatever you do, from your service or your product, how it gets distributed amongst all of your expenses. So you can know what percent is going to payroll, what percent is going to your insurance, what percent you're keeping as profit. It is personally my favorite one because I love to see where it is. Now, you want to run it every month because then you can see, is payroll getting big? Is payroll getting small? What are the changes that are happening? What trends are happening? And then you can make decisions based on that. So it's a really, really great report that I run every month for my own company. All right, I don't have any more questions. Um, It was great having you guys. If you have any questions, you can always email me. I'm available, Alisa at firststepsfinancial.com. And everybody's going to get a recording of this and the slides. And I think that gets emailed to you tomorrow. And don't forget, we do this webinar every third Thursday of the month, and it's at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So we'll see you next time. Looking forward to it. And we are going to be talking about QPO cleanup. Woo! And we're going to talk about how to identify issues and how to clean them up. All right, great seeing everybody. See you next month.